The reason why I love one pot meals so much at this time of year is because you seriously dump everything into one pot or one pan on the stove. You could dump your pastas in there, rices, proteins, liquids, seriously dump it all into a pot or a pan on the stove. It cooks up in minutes, and then in the end you have a delicious meal to enjoy. But better yet, you only have one pot to clean up in the end. They are amazing. I'm sharing some of our favorite recipes with you today. Let's get to my kitchen and let's get to cooking. To kick us off today, we are making the best ever spaghetti bolognese. This is such an easy dinner to make. It also has very minimal steps. All you have to do is chop up 1 yellow onion, dice 1 large carrot, and slice 2 ribs of celery. To a large pot on the stove, add in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Once the oil's hot, add those veggies right in there. Go ahead and cook those veggies for about 7 to 8 minutes. You want them to slightly start to soften up. Then go ahead and add in about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and then you're going to add in 1 pound of ground beef. I like to use a little bit leaner ground beef for this recipe. You could also use like ground chicken, ground turkey, or any meat substitute that you like. Just break up that ground meat and cook it through. Once it is cooked through, add in 28 ounces of diced tomatoes along with 3 cups of water, and then you're going to add in a half a pound of fettuccine noodles. What I found with this recipe is I do like to break the noodles up just so they are fully submerged in the water. And then to season this up, I'm seasoning it with a dash of salt, pepper, and 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Give this a little stir, so those noodles are covered. Let this simmer covered for about 10 to 18 minutes or until the noodles are tender. While this is cooking, I do like to stir it frequently just so the noodles don't stick together. This recipe is phenomenal. It is so easy to make, so flavorsome, and it comes together in seriously just one pot. Add in a half a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese or grated Parmesan cheese once the noodles are tender. Give it a stir, and then you could serve this up. My little ones absolutely gobble this dinner up. It really is that good. It's just easy to throw together, and then in the end you basically just have one pot to clean up. That is the magical part of one pot meals. Very minimal dishes to clean up in the end. Now this one is for all my meatless meal friends. We are making my favorite one-pot Mexican quinoa. So to a pan on the stove, add in a tablespoon of olive oil, then add in a diced jalapeno. I didn't have a jalapeno on hand, so I just added 4 ounces of diced green chilies. I let it cook for a couple minutes, then I stirred in my tablespoon of minced garlic. Go ahead and add in 15 ounces of drained and rinsed black beans, a 14-ounce can of fire-roasted diced tomatoes, 14 ounces of corn, 1 cup of chicken or veggie broth, 1 cup of uncooked quinoa, and then for the seasonings, a dash of salt, pepper, half a teaspoon of cumin, and a teaspoon of chili powder. Give this a stir, and you're going to let it simmer on your stove for about 18 to 22 minutes. You do want to make sure it is covered while it is simmering, but this recipe is in my cookbook. It is on page 112. It's in the one pot section, and I am so thankful, and I know a lot of you guys already have my first cookbook, but I have something that I am really excited to tell you. For the past year, I have been working on my second cookbook, and holy smokes. I just got a sample back from printing the other day, and I really did start crying. I can't share too many details about the cookbook yet, but stay tuned. I'm going to be releasing it this fall, and I just can't wait for you to see it. It is probably the most unique cookbook you will ever see. That kind of says a lot. But anyway, once the quinoa is tender, add in the juice from a lime, give it a stir, then you could serve this up. We topped ours with our favorite kind of like taco toppings, so cheese, sour cream, sliced green onions, and lime. This is so good, so easy to throw together. This one also freezes well and reheats wonderfully in the microwave. You don't have to add like cheese or sour cream to this if you want to make it dairy-free. Now we're making this taco pasta, and this taco pasta is the perfect recipe to have on hand. While we enter like fall and winter, it's just the best recipe, to have on hand. To a pot on the stove, add in a pound of ground beef, just break it up and cook it through. Then add in a tablespoon of butter. Once it melts down, add in 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. Then add in a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Just stir these 2 ingredients together so the taco seasoning, gets into the ground beef. After you give this a good stir, add in 1 cup of chicken broth. Then you're going to add in 1 cup of beef broth. After you're through adding your broths in, you're going to add in 1 can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. It's basically like a can of Rotel, but just like a cheaper version. Then 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 cup of milk, a half a pound of elbow pasta. Give this a stir. Let it simmer on your stove for about 10 minutes. You basically just need to cook the pasta at this point. Once my elbows were tender, I just added in 1 cup of Colby Jack cheese. Now I'm stirring that cheese in. You could serve it up once the cheese is melty. If you want to make this dairy-free, just don't add the cheese in. And then instead of adding 1 cup of milk, just add in another cup of broth or water. Top it with your favorite toppings. This is a total winner dinner, especially during like the fall and winter. This is just a delicious, delicious meal. Now we're getting started on this Caprese chicken and rice. You were in for a treat with this one. This one is unbelievably good. To a pot or pan on the stove, add in 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a pound of cubed chicken breast, and then season it with a dash of salt and pepper. Just cook your chicken through at this point. I haven't made this recipe in years and years. It is so good. I honestly kind of just forgot about it, but it's a good one. Once your chicken's cooked through, add in a tablespoon of minced garlic. Also add in your dried basil. I added in a half a teaspoon of that. If you have fresh basil on hand, you could always add that in. Just give this a stir, then add in a cup and a half of chicken broth, 14 ounces of diced tomatoes. I just used a can of those, and then a tablespoon of basil pesto. It is not too pesto-y at all. So if you're not a pesto fan, I still think you should try this one. It's not like overpowering. Also add in a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. Give this a stir, and then you're going to want to bring it up to a simmer. Once it does start to simmer, add in 1 cup of uncooked white rice. Just stir that rice in. Then you're going to want to let this simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes covered. You basically want to just like stir it occasionally while it's simmering so the rice doesn't stick to the bottom of your pan. But once your rice is tender, it will look like this. Stir in 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. Once the cheese is melty, you could serve this up. And then, like I said before, if you have fresh basil on hand, sprinkle some fresh basil over the top. But if you are looking for a chicken and rice dish that cooks it up in just 1 pot or pan on the stove, this one is for you. It is like fresh tasting. It is ultra delicious. Also, it makes for a great lunch for the next day if you just, want to pack the leftovers you have in a lunch. But this one is so good. I know it doesn't look like much, but you should give it a try. I often get requests for like super kid-friendly dinner options, and in the past 3 weeks, I have made this 3 times. It is that good. Both of my little ones ask for seconds, and it's not just kid-friendly, it's also adult-friendly. So we are making this creamy chicken and egg noodles. To a pot on the stove, melt down 3 tablespoons of butter, then add in a cup of diced carrots, a diced onion. I didn't have an onion on hand, so I didn't add it in. But then a pound of cubed chicken breast, cook it for 3 minutes, and then add in another tablespoon of butter with 3 tablespoons of flour. We're kind of making like a roux, but once you stir that flour in, add in a tablespoon of minced garlic. Once your garlic is stirred for about 15 seconds, slowly add in 2 cups of chicken broth. You want to add it in slowly just so the flour, and everything combines well and there's no like clumpiness from the flour. Then you're going to add in your seasoning, so a half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of onion powder, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. Give this a really good stir. You're going to bring it up to a simmer. Let it simmer covered for about 15 minutes to thicken up slightly. And I am cooking my egg noodles just in a separate pot. I realized I needed more water, so I added a bit more water in there. I used about 8 ounces of egg noodles. But once my sauce is through simmering and my chicken's cooked through and the sauce is slightly thickened up, I added in a half a cup of heavy cream. I gave it a stir, then I added in my cooked egg noodles. Let this cook for a couple minutes, and then you could serve this up. Like I said before, in the past few weeks, I have made this 3 times. It is that good. My little ones absolutely love it. It is very easy to throw together, and it is really good. As an adult, I actually get seconds for this one too. Same with my husband. It truly is that good. It is rich, delicious, easy to throw together, and very affordable. I love it. I would love to have you over here, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video like this. I'll see you there. Bye for now.